Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I'm your host, TheDividendAristocrat, and today I just want to make this quick video to cover some of my recent purchases in the portfolio. Now this video is going to be a little bit more casual and a little bit shorter than my usual uploads, and that's because I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so I just wanted to get a quick video out there just to cover what I've been purchasing this month and what I'm planning on purchasing for the rest of the month to keep you guys updated. If you guys do appreciate the transparency and enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a lot. As a reminder, this is not financial advice and I'm just merely sharing my opinions on this channel. Now with that being said, let's start by taking a quick look at my portfolio dashboard. So in total, I've already invested $40,219 into the portfolio and my current portfolio value is sitting at $54,936. My unrealized gain is at $14,700 and my total return is at 36.59%. Now keep in mind, I am filming this video while the market is open, so if you see the days changing constantly, my unrealized gain value changing, it's because the stocks are going up and down in price as we speak. I've earned $1,491 worth of dividend income so far in the portfolio, and that's all been reinvested back into the holdings that paid it out. Going forward, I'm projected to earn $833 worth of dividend income this year, and my portfolio is at 1.52% or a yield on cost of 2.07%. Now, the one thing I quickly want to shout out here is how much I've invested each year and how much dividends I've received. The dividends are not as important for today's video. We'll cover that at the end of the month when we take a look at my dividends for the month of February. But in terms of amount invested, I've already invested $4,828 this year. Now, if you guys remember from last year, my goal is to invest at least $1,000 per month into the portfolio, $500 into ETFs, and $500 into individual stocks. But as you can see right here, I do have a cash position still remaining from last year. So right now, we are far ahead of that $1,000 per month goal. We're currently at almost $5,000 in the past 2 months alone, but I hope to be slowing this down over the next couple months so I can get back on track. So without further delay, here are all my purchases for the month of February so far, and as you can see, this far outpaces last month's investments. In total, this month alone, I've invested $3,044 into the portfolio so far, and I might be investing even more as the month goes on. So starting at the top, we can see here I have an schd and VOO investment, and those are my weekly investments. I'm committed to investing into at least one schd share per week and also $100 of VOO per week. You can see that I started off the month by buying 3 shares of schd. Just felt like it. I think the price was a little bit lower than usual that week, so I decided to take advantage of that opportunity. And then going forward after that, I invested, 1 share of schd on this week, $100 of VOO, and then 1 more share of schd. I think that was like yesterday, and then 1 more share of VOO, or $100 more of VOO. Now I will be making 1 more purchase next week for 1 schd share and $100 more of VOO, but that should be it for the month for those 2 ETFs. So the rest of my purchases were individual stocks, and as you can see right here, the first one I purchased was PayPal. I took advantage of the dip after earnings. I thought the earnings were pretty solid for the company. They weren't amazing, but they weren't bad either, and I thought the drop was a little bit unjustified. So I purchased 4 shares at 81, 2 more shares at 80, and then 2 more shares at 78, which of course would have been nice if I waited till the price dropped to 78 before I started purchasing, but I didn't know which way the stock price would go. Also that same day, I bought 15 shares of Uber at $70. I wanted to get in before earnings because I was expecting solid earnings, and so I did purchase it. After earnings, the price did drop actually to $64 per share for a little bit, so I purchased 5 more shares, but then after that, the stock has since skyrocketed in price. For the most part, I try not to time my buys around earnings because you never know which direction the stock price will go. I thought earnings were fantastic and the stock price still went down initially, and then of course by the end of the day, it absolutely recovered and went up a lot since then. So I basically bought right here, right before earnings, because I was afraid that the stock price would shoot up instead of fall down. But then after earnings, the stock price started out a little bit lower for the day, but then it started climbing that same day very quickly. And as you can see right here, right now we're sitting at $81 per share, which I'm very happy about. And the last company that I was buying this month was boozallenhamilton. I've been buying it for a couple months now, and you guys know I started my position at a little bit of a high price. I think it was about $150, $155 per share. It was after a pretty significant dip, but since then the company's stock price has just absolutely crashed. So I bought 2 more shares at $121. I bought 1 more share at $120, 1 more at $117, and 1 more at $116. And I would like to be taking advantage of this recent stock price dip because right now I think it's sitting at even lower at $113 per share. But this position is just getting to be too large of a size, and I can't keep concentrating even more money into it, unfortunately. Now, I do think this company will do well long term, but I do have to manage my risk, and the way I like to do that is by managing my allocation to different holdings. Now, yesterday, Donald Trump did announce that he plans on cutting the Pentagon defense spending budget by 8% per year for the next 5 years, and as you can see, that has definitely hurt the stock price. It's down 5% today on that news. Now, I will say if the stock price does keep dipping, I will pick up another share here or there just to lower my cost basis a little bit, but I'm getting to my maximum of how much I'm willing to put into this position. We'll take a look at my exact position in a second, but I believe I'm currently sitting at about $4,300 invested, and I don't want to go anywhere above $5,000 at the moment, so we'll have to see what I'm going to do from here. I've also considered selling this position for a loss in the meantime and potentially buying it back within 30 days so I can at least write off the losses, but you never know which way the stock price is going to head, and this company is still pretty solid. I think it's going to have a good earnings report in the next earnings that we do have. Now, if Trump does go ahead and cut the defense spending budget by 8% per year, this will be detrimental for the industry, but I have a feeling that won't get passed or approved by Congress. If you guys have any thoughts you want to share about this, let me know down below. So looking at my individual positions in those 3 individual holdings, we can see them here ranked from percent change. So my best total return all the way to my lowest total return. So right now I have 51 shares of Uber purchased at an amount of $3,278. And the current value is actually at $4,155. So it's my largest current position, or individual position, I should say. Then we have PayPal. I bought 23 shares. My original cost basis was much lower, around $50 or $55 per share. But since I recently added to the position, it went up a lot to $65 per share. So my total return is now only 20.65%. Before that, it was closer to 50 or 60%. I invested $14.85 into this position, and the current value is at almost $1,800, which is pretty nice. And then we have Hamilton here, 31 shares at an average price of $140. That is significantly above the current price, unfortunately. And I invested $4,357 into the position, and it's currently sitting much lower than that at $3,500. Now, like I said before, I am open to adding to this position until it hits about $5,000, but we'll have to see because it is getting to be a pretty large position in my portfolio. Now, in terms of total return, it's actually down 19%, which is one of the worst holdings that I've ever had. Now, of course, this is just short-term unrealized gains, so it's not a big deal, but we'll have to see how this plays out in the long run. Currently, that's almost a $1,000 loss on my position. Now, the only other thing I want to show you guys here is my allocation. So because of the recent rise in stock price for Uber, it's actually 7.6% of my portfolio. So it's my largest single holding that's not an ETF in the portfolio. And then we have PayPal. Because I added more into positions, about 3.3%. I'm comfortable with where that's at. I want PayPal to be about 3% of my portfolio at the moment. And then we have Hamilton at 6.4%. Now, ideally, as I add more money into other positions in my portfolio, I want Uber and Hamilton to make up about 5% of my portfolio. I think both have a good trajectory ahead of them and a good runway for growth, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Now, as always, that does bring us to the end of today's video. I really just wanted to make that video as brief as possible. I know I tend to ramble in a lot of these videos, so hopefully that one did not take too long. For those of you that did join and watch until the end, I really do appreciate it, and if you could leave a like on the video, that does help me out a ton. Leave a comment down below letting me know which stocks you've been buying this month, and also let me know your opinions on what I've been buying for the past month as well. If you haven't yet watched last week's video where I do a stock analysis on CNI, Canadian National Railway, check out this video right here. And if you want to watch the video before that where I talk about Google stock and whether or not I'm buying the dip after earnings, check out this video right here. Remember, the best time to invest was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. I want to thank every single one of you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.